Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Kabbalah Café. So I'm very excited to be here with you all. Let me make sure, looks like that's working. Okay, so today is a special edition of Kabbalah. We call this the World Cup edition. World Cup Kabbalah. As everyone knows, much to the disappointment of several in this room, it's not Mexico, and it's not France, and it's not, who else? America, right? Who else? Who else would be like faribbled, as they say in Yiddish? Who else is upset? Who? Which one?
Portugal. Ronaldo.
Ronaldo's not in. Oh, all these guys. But nonetheless, it is happening today. And I want to share, because we were talking, like David was mentioning, I think Sarah also was mentioning, about this thing about not using the hands. Who ever heard of such a thing? I'm kidding, right? That's a core tenet, core piece of soccer / football, which actually makes way more sense than American football, if we really want to think about it, right? Because how often, I found out recently that Chris Boswell, who is the kicker, speaking of football, I mentioned this yesterday in Dominating 101, Chris Boswell, who's the kicker for the Pittsburgh Steelers, my team, one of the best kickers in the game, and also the highest, as of this summer, the highest paid kicker in football, Chris Boswell, is next door neighbors to a friend of mine who lives in Marietta, a Chabad guy. Unbelievable.
He lives here?
Yeah, he lives in Georgia.
Wow.
Yeah, Chris Boswell. Who would have thought? And his address is, I'm kidding, Chris. Don't worry. We wouldn't out you like that. I don't know if Chris is watching. Why would he watch? But nonetheless, discretion is at the top of the Kabbalah Café game. But I will say this. Real football, i.e. the game where you play with your feet, is interesting because you can't play with your hands, which is weird because it's so normal. Like, I can only imagine myself out there. You're just like so tempted to just use your hands because it's a normal thing. So I've used this in the past, and I always like thinking about this and framing this in this way where it's almost like in the game of soccer / football, it makes sense. Meaning the rules are you can't use your hands, so you can't use your hands. Now, when you finish the game, are you allowed to eat with your hands? Yes, you're allowed to eat with your hands. But when you're in the game, then there are the restrictions. And so one way that I've thought about this, or that I think about this, is in the context of the limitations that we take for granted in our physical reality in this universe, like time and space. Like, we take it for granted that time moves in a linear fashion and that we're stuck in space, meaning that you can't be in two places at the same time, nor can you be at two times at the same time. And if you really want to time travel, you need a DeLorean. That's the only way it's going to happen. I'm kidding, Michael J. Fox, but really, like the only way to operate in this reality is within the strictures, within the limitations of Zman and Makom, time and space. And in fact, when you look at the Torah's account of creation, the very first word of the Torah is Bereshit, which means in the beginning, which implies time and the limitations of time. Because when you say the word in the beginning, it implies in the beginning, okay, that's already a time, that's language that connotes time. Beginning means prior to, and already you're dealing with time. Whereas God Almighty, the one thing we know about God is, well, that we can't know, but what we also know is that God, the four-letter name of God, which we pronounce typically as Havayas, is an acrostic, amongst other things, of Haya, Hoveh, V'yiyeh, which means past, present, and future as one. God is not subject to the same time restraints that we are. So then you and I can ponder, and this Kabbalah speaks about extensively, and then it's always a little bit mind-bending because it's like, how do we make sense of that? Like, how does that make any sense? What does it mean that, like, imagine we are like in the flip book, like every moment is a page in this book. You know, like the flip books when you were a kid and you flipped it and the guy's like running or bicycling or whatever it is. So that's us. We're the character in the flip book, but God can do it forwards, backwards, and be outside of the entire structure of time itself. God is not inside, we're inside. How do we wrap our heads around this? And again, one way to think about this is, in the game of soccer, you can't use your hands. But in life, you can use your hands. Like when God creates a universe, time and space, you can't get out of that. But beyond that, of course there's no time and space. again, we can't wrap our heads around that because we're stuck inside the game, but outside the game, it's not a problem. No game, no problem. All right, that's not today's topic. But nonetheless, may the best team win. And I hope it's not a messy battle. Oh, yeah. Really?
It's his last game.
Really? Really? All right. I know, restore. Yeah, listen, no better time for puns than now. All right, so what we want, yes.
Can I add one thing?
Absolutely.
My little pun is he's amazing.
Oh, he's amazing. Very good. He is, by the way, you know what? He's got something about him. He's very good. All right.
And he's been to Israel to the Kotel.
I heard about that.
Yeah.
I heard about that. He wore a kippah?
Yes.
Did he wear a kippah?
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
He's been blessed.
We both realized his first name is Lionel.
Yes.
Right. Ari.
Ariel. Ariel.
Ariel. Lion is Ari. Also my name. Oh, of course we love him.
Yeah, that's
All right.
right. And the president of Argentina is very pro.
He's basically Chabad.
Yeah.
The president of Argentina is basically a Chabad guy at this
They
point.
have to win.
Best friends with Simon Jacobs, Rabbi Simon Jacobson.
Yes.
Unbelievable. He's been to the Rebbe's gravesite in Brooklyn many times. He's a good friend. Yes, correct. That famous visit before the elections. Did you guys get two? Oh, I have plenty. Oh my God. You know I have more where these came from. All right, here we go. Pleasure. All right, so let's get started. You know, what we're going to do is we have this handy-dandy sefirot chart that we always go through. I want to reset this because today we're focusing on Malchut, which is the last one on the page and in the chart. So what I'm going to do here is, let's make sure that I've got everything set up on my end, which I do, thank God. All right, so here we go. Let's jump into the chart. So I want to, again, just reset. Today, it's all about Malchut. All about Malchut. Now, you have here 10 energies. There's the blue energies. There are the blue energies, the red energies, meaning the intellectual ones, the blue ones, Chachma, Bina, and Dat. Then you have the emotional, Chesed, Gevurah, Tiferet, Netzach, Hod, Yesod. And then Malchut kind of hangs out from the bottom. And you see it's kind of like a little bit, a little bit separate from the structure. It's kind of like the structure, and then there's a separate. So I want to begin this analysis by asking a rhetorical question. There were 3 frogs sitting on a log. Maybe it's not rhetorical. 3 frogs sitting on a log. 2 decide to jump. How many are on the log? So the simple answer is 1. But the real answer is 3. Because deciding to jump is not the same as jumping. 2 of them decided to jump. Okay. People decide things all the time. It's right. But it's an important thing. You see, all of the other energies are wonderful. Chachma, Bina, Dat. How you think, how you frame the word Chachma, your ideas. Bina is how your slant, your angle. Dat is how you perceive things on a personal level. Chesed is what you love. Gevurah is what you want to distance from. Tiferet is your ability to have compassion, empathy, to connect on that level. Netzach is your ambition. And so, you think if you have a lot of netzach, a lot of ambition, great, you got it made. Yeah, not so much. Hod is your ability to kind of like withhold a little bit, step back. Yesod, your ability to communicate. And all of those are wonderful. But like with the frogs on the log, deciding to jump is not the same as jumping. What Malchut is, and what Malchut does, is it takes whatever activity or whatever thing it is, it takes it across the finish line. It gets it done. You ever hear about someone who is like in business, maybe, I don't know, this is not my field, but maybe like they're the closer of a deal. Like you have others that can schmooze up or whatever it is, and then you have the closer. The one that says, we're getting it done. And by the way, that's a unique and a specific type of art. The art of closing the deal. There's the art of talking up the deal, getting people excited about something, but the art of closing the deal is its own unique thing. In baseball, just because we're speaking about round, spherical objects today in the context of sport. In baseball, you literally have a role called a closer. You have the pitchers that are the starters. And then you have the relievers. It used to be so simple. Now it's complicated. You have the early inning relievers, the late inning relievers, whatever it is. And then you have the closer. You have the guy that when the game's on the line, you have one guy that you believe will close it out. You're in the lead. You need 3 outs to win the game. This is your guy. That's the closer. His one job. Doesn't start the game. He doesn't take over when things get a little crazy. He finishes and closes it out. All you need is it to be over, to end, to close it, to seal the victory. There's one guy you trust per team. The guy usually gets paid a lot of money for 3 outs. 3 outs. The other guys get 6 innings times 18 outs. It's a lot more than 3, but those 3 arguably are the most important. Arguably because I don't even know. And I don't know that we're going to get into the philosophy of who's more important. But a closer is very important. Malchut is the ability to close. So to give you kind of maybe another analogy, you can have, let's use an educational analogy. So you can have, because we have a teacher within us, in our midst, right? So, imagine as a teacher, you have ideas of what you want to share, you have theories, you have a lesson plan, you have all of these things, and you worked on it. You worked on it internally. You worked on it in your own head. You sat and planned over the summer, what am I going to teach the kids this year? What's going to be interesting? What's going to be important? Right? You think about it. And then, you write it down and you draft documents and you use, all the tools that are, it's unbelievable the tools that are at teachers' disposals today. Oh my gosh. Leah, obviously, she's the principal of the school, of the Chabad Day school over here. So I see this, with AIs, it's unbelievable. You can take a plain worksheet or whatever it is and just make it pop in just ways that are unimaginable. You can create, it's just whatever. That's parenthetical. So many tools are accessible. But you can plan all of these things, and at the end of the day, the question is, when you step into that classroom, are you engaging with the kids? Meaning, are they understanding what you're saying? Are you communicating? Is it actually connecting on the user end? I mean, you could even say it in the most beautiful fashion, but if it's not received by the student, if it's not accepted by the student, if it's not integrated by the student, then it wasn't a success. That's really the metric of a good teacher. Not did they plan well, not even did they print out colorful materials. It's none of that. It's all important on some level, but it doesn't touch the importance of the actual bottom line. And the bottom line is not even when the teacher teaches it, it's when the student learns. That's really the question. How is it accepted and received by the student? So Malchut is always the actualization. It's always about actualizing it. And the famous example that I've given many times, the one about building the house, you have a vision for a home, and so you buy a piece of land, and then you create drawings and go through one iteration and a second iteration, and you go through all the stages, which I'm not familiar with about building a home, and you dig a foundation, whatever, all the things that you have to do until it's done. And you can walk into the house and you live in that house. And that's the Malchut. Getting it done, that last piece of it, is the hardest. I mean, how many ideas die before they ever get actualized? Think about it. How many ideas have we had just in this room? When I say ideas, I don't mean 2 + 2 is 4. I mean business ideas or goals or plans or dreams or hopes, whatever they were, right? How many ideas did we have that never got to the finish line? And it's just pointing out one thing, that there's 2 realities. There's the internal reality, and then there is the practical reality. We live in a practical world. I would say we live in a material world, but that's, maybe a different song. But we live in a very material world. Huh? Where?
There's a halftime
Oh.
for the first time.
Halftime by the World Cup? Oh my gosh, they are Americanizing the sport. There's hydration breaks. Oh my gosh.
Hydration break. Yeah.
Really?
She's part of the money
Nice. All right.
Hydration, commercial breaks.
By the way, I was totally thinking that. They're like, Fox is like, where are we going to get the money? Hey, where's the money? We're going to pay, $500 million for this, but where do we see that money? How's that going to work? We need advertising slots. Can't just have 15 minutes halftime. That's not going to work. Good. I love the running clock, by the way. I love the running clock. The clock keeps on going. I was thinking about, what if basketball did that? It's like you can, whatever you want, whatever shenanigans you want to pull, the clock is moving. And when we decide it's over, it's over. I love that part of it all. It's so arbitrary. It's fantastic. All right, back to the point. Malchut is about getting it done. You could have ideas, you could have feelings, you could decide to jump off the log, but until you do that, you haven't. And that's what Malchut is. So let's review the chart. We have the chart over here. And I know I kind of did it outside a little bit, but just to get our feet wet once again, the chart. Chachma, again, is your creative ideas. Bina is how you understand things with your personality. Dat is how you connect with the ideas with the knowledge that you have. Chesed is love and kindness, meaning the attraction that you have. Gevura is your kind of distance, severity, boundaries, rules, kind of creating space. Tiferet is compassion, which is a bit of a hybrid between the two. So you kind of feel distant, but you also feel close, or you feel close because you feel distant. Netzach, which is ambition, is the idea of not letting things get in your way. But again, it's still a feeling of ambition. You can be very ambitious and still not get things done. You can be like, look at my this, that, or the other, but then practically speaking, it doesn't get over the finish line. Devotion, meaning you can be quietly devoted to something, and the question is, where does that go? Yesod, bonding, and again, that could be in the context of teaching and in a relationship where you're communicating. Yesod is also the idea of speech. But Malchut, where it says leadership, in this context, it's not just about leadership, it's about actually, you know what it is? It actually is, leadership is actually a very good word. Executive function. What is executive function? Executive function, leadership, right. Executive function is, I don't know the actual definition of it, but I think part of it is about getting things done, right? Would that be fair to say? Executive function?
As well as planning.
Right, planning, being organized and planned out, but also about, if you think of the executive, right? Typically the one that's going to get things done and make the call. And so each of us, we all have all 10, as we know. We discussed many times. We all have all 10 of these abilities, but to various degrees. No one has each of these 10 amplified to 100%. That would be a very complicated person. That have all of these full measure, oh my gosh, that's too many personalities. So typically you have one dominant trait. That's if you have a sound mixer, a soundboard that's kind of amped up. And the other ones are more kind of in the background. You have one dominant, frequency. Malchut is very important. Some people are very Malchut oriented. You give them a job, you know it's going to get done. It's not a question. They're going to get it done. They're going to seal the deal. They're going to get it closed. They're going to whatever. They're not going to just decide to jump. They might not even tell you they decided to jump. And the next thing you know, they jumped. It's they're more jumpers than deciders. Then you have people that are stuck in their heads or in their feelings. Again, not a bad thing. It's just a thing. It's just reality. People that are ruminating. I can relate to that. You're always thinking about all the alternatives. To the point where it's do I actually need to do anything? I've already thought it through. You know what I mean? I've already... paralysis by analysis, right? I've already thought it through and walked it through all the scenarios. It's like the joke that they tell about the guy who needs to borrow his neighbor's lawnmower. You know this one? And he goes over, and so he's like, oh, great, I have to ask my neighbor for the lawnmower. That's going to be an annoying experience. And he's like, I bet when I get there, the guy's going to be like, no, you can't borrow my lawnmower because I just got a new lawnmower. And then I'm going to say, yeah, but I lent you my snowblower last winter. He's like, yeah, well, your snowblower was an old snowblower, and this is a new lawnmower, and I want to make sure that it doesn't get ruined on your lawn. Then it would be like, yeah, but that's not nice. And he's like, well, tough luck. And then whatever. So he's thinking about this in his head, and he's getting so upset at this neighbor. And he walks over to the neighbor's house, and he rings the doorbell. The guy answers, you know what? You can keep your lawnmower. I don't even want it. And he slams the door. He already had the conversation in his head. So that happens often, right? We're not even about other people in this context, but more about, I don't know, I decided to do something good. There was a radio commercial like a few years ago, something about that. Maybe like, I don't even know what it was, some sort of thing. Maybe donating blood, I don't even know. Donating blood, money, volunteering, something. And it was about the same construct. It was like we don't need you to like feel it, we need you to do it. Whatever that was. For most people, the way it works is like, and Kabbalah describes this as the way that it works. It goes head, heart, hands. The 3 H's? Head, heart, hands. Yeah, look at that. The 3 H's. Head, heart, hand. You begin with an idea, then you get excited about it, and then you do it. But the problem is, so often there's a block between one of those, 3 segments. Right? It's just like it's a little rusty. So sometimes our head knows it's a good idea, but I'm not excited about it. Or sometimes I'm excited about it, but I'm still not going to do it. Why? I don't know. I was planning on it, just didn't happen yet.
In a previous class, you had described Malchut as coming from without, whereas the others, like Chesed, comes from within. So how does that relate to?
So our text is going to bring, excellent question. So Toba's asking, to repeat the question, we've described Malchut previously as that which is other-generated as opposed to self-generated. So how does that fit with the way we're describing Malchut now as the closer, as getting it done, what you want to be done, which sounds like it's very much you-driven and not other-driven? Excellent question. We're going to get back to that in our text, but we're first presenting this angle of it, and then we're going to tie things together. Maybe not today, maybe not next week, but it's going to happen. It's going to happen. So Malchut is the ability to close. Now, what's interesting, and this is, I think we've talked about this before. Every sefirot, each one of these, has all of the others inside of it. Have we talked about this before? They're all inter-included. It's very important. Like, for example, during Sefirat HaOmer, the 49 days between Passover, Pesach, and Shavuot, the giving of the Torah, so those 49 days, we work on the 7 red ones, right? The 7 emotional ones, each as the other 7 are inter-included within them. It's a long way of saying 7 times 7 equals 49. So chesed has chesed within chesed. That's like pure chesed. But then it also has gvura within chesed. It also has tiferet within chesed. It has netzach of chesed. It has hod of chesed, yesod of chesed, and malchut of chesed. And here's what's relevant for today. The malchut of every other energy is how that energy becomes actualized as well. You with me? Not only is malchut in general the actualizer of the entire person, within each of these other energies, malchut is what actualizes it. Is what defines it and concretizes it. So for example, this is the example he gives in our text, which we'll read inside shortly. So he gives an example of someone who wakes up in the morning and decides they want to do something kind today. Imagine a person wakes up and says, you know what? Today I want to do something kind. Chesed. I want to do an act of kindness today. Let me ask you the question. If that's you, how many options are there?
Unlimited.
Think about it. Let's say you wake up in Atlanta on a Sunday morning, you're like, I want to do something chesed. I want to do something that's considered to be chesed, kind. Give me some options. What are we doing? Give charity. What else? Feed the homeless. Good. What else?
Speak to someone kindly.
Good. Speak to someone kindly.
Make a meal.
Cook some food.
The sick.
Visit the sick.
Make somebody smile.
Make somebody smile. You can volunteer. You can donate. You can, I don't know.
Go to the market for someone.
Do shopping for someone.
Right.
I was going to say put on a clown suit and, but that's just scare people. Whatever. But like, Kidding. But you can, like, there's so many different things, so many different avenues of expression of chesed.
Like Sandrine came this morning to pick me up.
Oh, pick up a friend.
I said it.
That's so
We
nice.
write together, we have a
That's so nice. That's
Very
so
nice.
nice. Look at that. See that? We're manifesting it. A little Malchut action. So look, the reality is, and he'll explain over here, that chesed can be roughly broken down into three categories. You can do chesed kindness with your money. You can do chesed kindness with your body, meaning like physically giving of your time. And you can do chesed spiritually, with your spirit, whatever, spiritual chesed. So there's different forms. And each of them are valid. I'll give you another example. It says that on Rosh Hashanah, it's coming up, by the way.
Yeah.
It's coming up. Today is, what are we here? It's like a few days into the month of Av. September 12th, July, August, less than 2 months away. Oh, baby. All right, get the shofar dusted off. Dust off your shofar. So here's the thing. It says that on Rosh Hashanah, God determines the blessings that we're going to have for the coming year. That's what it says. God determines the brachot, the blessings for the year. And he writes it, whatever, on Rosh Hashanah, and it's sealed on Yom Kippur. For the whole year. For the whole year. So Kabbalah asked the question, so then if that's the case, so then why do we show up the rest of the year and pray? It's already been determined. What are we wasting our time for? Think about it. If it's already been allocated at the beginning of the year, great. Show up a few times a year and you're set. Made in the shade, baby. That's it. I prayed, I fasted, and all I got was this t-shirt. I'm kidding. And I got the allocation for the year. So then, what's the 3 prayers per day? What's the whole thing of davening and praying? And what do we do? It's already been decided. It's already been determined. So this is not my question. Literally, the Talmud asked the question, the commentaries asked the question, the great rabbis of the and the mystics asked the question. And the mystics give a very mystical answer, which is beautiful. And they say it like this: there's 2 types of blessings. God determined that you're going to be blessed. But here's the question. Is it going to get stuck somewhere over here? Or is it going to hit Malchut? Meaning, is it going to end up cash in your pocket? Or is it going to be like, this year, you were blessed spiritually. Somewhere up there, somewhere up in the, in the higher chain of the architecture of reality, you received your blessing there. I think most of us would say, I would love the blessing that I can actually cash in. Like here. To cash it in up there is also good. It's also good. But we also want to be able to cash in here, practically speaking. And so I think what underlies that idea, and that's why we pray every day. Why do we pray every day? We pray every day that the blessing that has been allocated should actually reach us, physical human beings, in a physical way. That we should have all the health that we need, the blessings for health. Not just theoretically, not just God decided that we should have good health. No. I don't want frogs deciding to jump. I want health that I can cash in. I want resources that I can cash in. I want happiness that I can cash in. I want peace that I can cash in. I want the stuff of the blessings to hit Malchut, to hit the practical dimension. So that's where Malchut comes in. And again, that explains the daily prayer. But it also explains why every day we have, in the Amidah, what's called the Shemona Esrei, we say 18 or 19 blessings that specifically ask for the things that we need, the specific things that we need. Why? Because the question is, when God allocated blessings for the year, how specific was that? Was it specifically that my business meeting on Tuesday morning should be successful? Was it broken down into that fine detail? Like, God, this week I need a blessing specifically for X, Y, and Z. Was that allocated? Was that determined? Or was it a general grant that was given that now needs to be kind of funneled into specific categories? The answer is it's the latter. On Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, so again, not only is there the possibility that the blessings could remain on in one of these spiritual states and not filter all the way down practically, but there's also the question of which funnel are they going to come through, right? Now I might say, well, I need all of them. I don't want to be cut short on any of these levels. Like, I don't want less health or less money or less happiness or less peace or less nachas. Like, I don't want less of any of that. Yeah, okay, fine. But the question is, if you need a specific blessing, a specific channel, what's the platform to kind of help that allocation and ask for that? That's where daily prayer comes in. So daily prayer does two things. Number one, it allows us the opportunity to share our voice and our petition of where specifically what we need for that day or for that, we do it 3 times a day, those moments where we want that flow. And we say all the blessings, but we can have, in mind specifically what we need for that moment. Number one, for the channel. And number two, that it should actually show up in our physical reality. Again, it's nice to have our soul blessed on high, but it's maybe even nicer to have those blessings also be manifest down here below. Make sense? Okay, so with this in mind, I think we should just jump in to our text because it's really beautiful and it's written in a way that's, I think, very inspiring. This is going to be the beginning of chapter 6 of our text. We have not yet studied chapter 6, so this is all brand new material. I use the same cover page as always. If you don't mind, please take and just pass it around. I'm going to open this up over here.
Chapter 6.
Yeah, it should be right there in the beginning. If all goes well, it should be good. All right, here we go. All right, it's going to open up as a bridge for what we discussed in previous sessions, but soon it's going to get into the topic that we're sharing and exploring today. All right, chapter 6, page 76. He says the explanation of the matter is as follows. And again, what is the matter that we're explaining? It's about Malchut, all about Malchut and how Malchut is responsive and is considered like a name that's only needed for someone else and not for oneself, etc. So he says the explanation of the matter is as follows. The fact that Malchut is called name refers to the general concept of the attribute of Malchut, even as it exists within Atzilut, which is the highest of the 4 spiritual realms. This is because Malchut in general, even as it exists in Atzilut, is a revelation to the worlds. For it is known that the attribute of Malchut within each sefirah, meaning the Malchut of Chesed, the Malchut of Gevurah, the Malchut of each one of these, is the actuality and self of that sefirah, i.e. it is the particular revelation of that sphere. Now, that might sound like a word salad a little bit, but what it means is that the Malchut of anything is the actualization of that thing. Everything else of that thing might be the way that thing exists theoretically, but the Malchut of that thing is the actual, tangible way that it shows up. So he gives an explanation, and I shared this analogy before. To explain, every revelation and awakening emerges at first in a general way and later in a specific and measured form. So he gives a rule, a klal. In Hebrew it's called a klal, a rule. The rule is that everything begins broad and then gets focused. Take, for example, the attribute of kindness. And this is the example that I gave a few moments ago. At first there is an awakening to bestow kindness, meaning the first step is person gets inspired, I want to do something kind. I want to do something generous. But this awakening is still a general one. it is as of yet not at all apparent which type of kindness it will be. For there are different types of kindnesses. There is physical kindness and there is spiritual kindness. For example, teaching an idea to someone or helping someone acquire good character traits. So here you go. Physical kindness would be giving someone physical resources like food or money. Spiritual kindness would be giving someone spiritual needs like maybe love or ideas or inspiration. So again, it can manifest in different ways. You wake up one morning and you say, I want to be kind. Okay, well, what does that mean? You got a lot of... It's so funny. Just to pause for a moment. I mentioned before about AI a little bit and school. So one of the things that Leah has to do is make the schedule, which is not as simple as it sounds. Why is it not simple? Because every teacher has their own situation. They only work these hours on those days and teach those classes. And you multiply that by like 30 or 40 teachers. And then a class has to have, and each grade has a boys class and a girls class. So there's first grade boys, first grade girls, second grade boys, second grade boys. And so they have the same teachers, but they have to teach different times for the boys and the girls. And then each class has to have X number of subjects, of these subjects, and other special periods and whatever it is. And before you know it, you have like, I don't know how many variables you have, but in this like variable in mathematics, you might have like thousands of different like possible permutations of this. And for the last, I don't know, ever since like Leah's been doing this, it's been, it's hard to describe how many hours, like dozens of hours of drafting the schedule, and then going over it, and then realizing, oh, there's a conflict. I have the same teacher, and it sounds like, well, why would you have a conflict? It's just there's so many moving pieces. So I told her last year, not to make this about me, but I told her last year, I'm like, why don't you put it into like AI? Like just give it all the parameters, and then like see what it can spit out. She tried last year, and for whatever reason, it wasn't working. But this year, maybe because things are more advanced, she put in probably like 12 pages of parameters. Everyone's schedule, everyone's, what has to, like clearly written, like what has to happen. And it's working, it's processing, and it spits out. And the first thing it spits out is a series of questions. And the questions are, okay, I hear this, but what about this? What about that? What about the other? Questions that she didn't think of. And then she answers those questions. Then it has more questions. And then it spits out a thing and says, okay, here's a first draft, but here are all the conflicts. The reason why I'm mentioning this is, there's one thing to draft or to iterate, but there's another thing to like, if you want an actual calendar, this is what you're going to have to deal with. All of these questions and all these conflicts. If you want to talk about a calendar, we can talk about a calendar or schedule, whatever it's called. We can talk about it. We can like philosophize about it. We can ruminate over it. But if you want an actual working document, you're going to have to answer all of these questions. That's why it's so hard. Because you can't leave any I undotted or any T uncrossed. You have to like get that. The Malchut of a thing means it's not like I'm satisfied with waking up in the morning and feeling a spirit of generosity and kindness and be like, what should I do? And then ending up, well, I'll just watch soccer today. That's not what the Malchut of Chesed is. Malchut of Chesed asks these questions. Okay, so what do you want to do? So what are we doing today? Like, practically speaking, not what do you want to do, but what are we doing? It's like asking the tough questions. I see that you have this teacher, Miss So-and-so, at the same time, in 2 classrooms. That's not going to work. Like, practically speaking, like, how are we going to resolve this conflict? Or maybe it'll come up, and I don't know, I haven't been involved in all of the steps of this process, but maybe it's going to come up and say, you know what? This can't be done. Given all of the current parameters, there's still some things that can't be fixed. You're going to have to ask one of your teachers to add 3 hours per week. Otherwise, there's no way that this can be done. But at least you know what needs to be done, and then you can get it done. Malchut is the closer. It's hard to describe, like, I think in our heads and in our hearts, like we kind of mush things together sometimes. Malchut is the ability to say, okay, what do I need to do, or what do I need to know? What needs to happen to get it done? Like very much, the end in mind and goal oriented. All right, back inside. It's been kind of cool thinking about. I'm working on this. By the way, I should mention.
Someone has a system.
Has a system for creating this? Really? Huh? By you? Interesting. All right. Well, definitely make the connection. Yeah, reach out to Leah. I was also, says Leah was working on that. I was working on creating an app for the Torah Center. An app that would aggregate all of the audio and video across all the platforms. So instead of going to YouTube for the video, SoundCloud or Spotify for the audio, imagine there was one app, Torah Center app, or as I bought the URL Friday, torahcenter.app. Imagine that if you could go to one place, one address, all the classes. Easy peasy. It wouldn't reinvent the wheel, it would just pull from the existing structure. So that would be maybe a part 2 of it. And so I was able to vibe code, as the kids are saying now. And I got this app.
So you done already?
I mean, for me, it's done. Look at this. I got playlists on the top, across the top. I have all the tracks here. Then you can choose by topic, a drop down over here. And then I'm going to have another button. I talked to it on Friday. I didn't actually do it. But excuse me. There should be a pop-up that says, what are you in the mood of today? And you could type in whatever you want. And then it'll give you relevant matches.
Is that Claude?
This is Claude.
Okay.
This is Claude Code. Matt's with us, who's an actual coder. But yeah. Matt, I activated my first GitHub account.
I was going to ask, for your Torah app thing, do you have code uploaded into GitHub for that?
Yeah, code is in GitHub. I think it's public. No. I bought the URL. I didn't connect it. I'm using Render or something, some sort of Render website. Anyway, bottom line is it's not in the App Store yet. It's still in development, as it were, but it works. It actually works perfectly. I don't know, last week's Torah studies, I click it, watch or listen. I can hit listen. So again, Torah portions of the Torah, man, it's always read. I asked it for the audio if it can create 0.75, 1.25, 1.5, and 2 times speed, where you can listen to it faster or slower. And it says, we're pulling it from SoundCloud. It's limited.
So it pulled it from the internet. You didn't have to upload.
It just needed some API, some information about it. It's pulling it. And then I said the next day, I'm like, you seem to be very good at this whole thing. I'm like, I think you could build some way to modify the playback speed of this. And it's let me try it. And it built it.
You sweet talk.
I sweet talk. It literally, I'm telling you, you can look at the transcript. One day it's it can't be done. The next day it's you know what? For you, I can do it. It's I'm telling you, it's the weirdest thing.
Wow.
Literally, I can show you the transcript. It's bizarre. It's very cool. The next thing I want to do is, because right now in the videos it has the captions, because it's built into YouTube. It's pulling from YouTube. Again, it's not rehosting anything. That's the magic of this. Is I don't have to change anything for this aggregation to happen. It's automatically said every hour, I think, every day, I'm not sure, maybe every hour, to check the feeds, and if there's anything new, populates it. So the next thing is to have a transcript for the audio, I think Spotify has. Just... No, YouTube for sure has. So it's telling me different ways that it can do it. It can either transcribe it. I'm going to ask it at some point. I wasn't able to spend any time on it on Friday.
There is something similar in Spanish called Torah
Nice,
from the Mexican
nice.
rabbis, the Persian.
They have like an app for it.
And I can
but-
pick a certain rabbi and they meet all the topics that.
Nice, nice.
So music or class and whatever.
Right. Yeah. So that's one idea would be the transfer. The other one would be like the what are you in the mood of thing, and then maybe to have a way that it plugs into like here's some upcoming stuff. If you want to like have a Torah Center app. By the way, I reached out like years ago to like a developer. Like how much would building an app cost? It seems like $10,000-$15,000 to build an app. It's insane. And this is like I don't know. It's incredible. Dave, what were you going to say?
Yeah, I think you said, I was just going to say a translation to where you can pick the language.
Oh, that would be very cool. That would be very
That
cool.
way you can reach
Right,
people that are outside English.
right. That would be amazing.
I believe
When
it,
is phase happening?
Say it again?
When is phase 2 exactly?
After the holidays. Yeah. Because phase 1 is still, that whole, the bathrooms and the social hall, it's all off. That's why there's like bathrooms outside. So it's all off. So we need this space. And then through the holidays also we're going to need it, but it's going to be after. But we're bringing soon, hopefully we're going to have a meeting with a designer to like sketch out the space. We're taking down walls, expanding it, like making it really beautiful. That's the plan. You're going to like it. That's my pledge. All right, so back to this. So I think to me it's kind of like, when you work, I think the point that I was trying to get to is when you're working with something, like my wife works with ChatGPT, I work with Cloud, but like when she's like working on this calendar thing, you can't get away with, here's what I want to do. It's like, no, you're going to have to answer all these questions. I see there's a conflict between 6th grade girls and 8th grade girls at this time period using the same teacher or whatever it is. Like, you have to answer these questions. Like, you're not going to get away with, well, let's just, it'll be good. Kumbaya. It'll be fine. We'll make it work. Yeah, make it work. You have to answer questions. Like, I've given classes before about self-driving cars, right? And about the question of, well, what if the self-driving car notices, God forbid, that there's, 5 people standing in the middle of the road and there's no time to brake. But what it could do is swerve, but then there's one person standing to the side. Should the car swerve and take out the one? Again, let's say it can't stop. For whatever reason, it's not possible to stop in time. So in this moment, and it has the cameras, right? It can see. 5 people, without doing anything, it's going to, God forbid, plow 5 people. If it turns, 1. What should it do? Now, you have to understand, it's not a theoretical question. The cars have to be programmed. It has to be, you have to answer these questions. So someone, and I don't know how they're programmed, but someone has to answer the question. Or, God forbid, let's say the car can't stop before, again, God forbid, hitting a wall. But what it could do is swerve, but there's a person. So should it put the life of the passengers at risk or the pedestrian? What should your car protect? Your life or that innocent party's life? Theoretical question. You can speak about these things theoretically, like the trolley dilemma. This is all the trolley dilemma. The famous philosophical question, a runaway trolley, and it's speeding down the tracks, and there's 5 workers, the same, right? And you can't stop it, but there's no one inside. It's just speeding down the tracks, and it's going to kill the 5 workers who are oblivious to what's about to happen, but you're standing there, and you can switch the tracks. You can switch the trolley. You can pull the lever, and you can switch it. But if you pull the lever, it's going to go down the other track and kill. There's 1 worker over there. What do? Do you pull the lever? You don't pull the lever. So philosophers love to talk about this. How do you think of ethics? Do you think of it in pragmatic terms? 1 is better than 5. 1 death is better than 5 deaths. Or do you think about it in terms of passive versus active? Let me not do anything, as opposed to me taking the life of the person that's not currently at risk. Yeah, how do you weigh what's right, what's wrong? But it's all philosophical. It's all theoretical.
And who's the one compared?
Oh, good question. What if it's someone with less, that we would consider less quality of life versus more quality of life. Great, excellent. So you have different ways of thinking about this. But it's all theoretical. And at the end of the day, we can say we had a nice philosophical conversation, and now let's go for lunch. But if you're programming a car, I don't think you have the luxury of saying, well, it'll figure it out. What do you mean it will figure it out? You have to give it parameters. You can't leave the code empty. What does that mean? With the code, the car's going to shut down? It has to know how to operate. It's almost like it holds you accountable and says, no, you're going to have to answer all the questions. If we're going to get to the finish line, you have to answer all the questions. Malchut is the drive that says we got to answer all the questions. So you want to be kind today. Nu, what does that look like? And then you tell your inner Malchut, don't be so annoying. I plan on going back to sleep anyway. I wasn't actually planning on doing anything. But the inner Malchut says, so what are we doing? So you want to be kind today. Are we talking about physical kindness or spiritual kindness? Are we going to give food today? Or are we going to give inspiration today? What's the plan? You might say both, but what are you thinking? That's the Malchut dialogue. Let's get back inside. Back inside our text. There are also, last paragraph on 76, there are also various methods of bestowing kindness. One can bestow kindness with one's money alone, or also with one's body, or with one's soul as well, as mentioned in Orchot Tzadikim. It's a book regarding Abraham, our forefather, who bestowed kindness with all three: his money, his body, and his soul. Take a look at footnote 127. Abraham was known for his extraordinary generosity and hospitality. Not only did he give of his money, providing expensive delicacies to all of his guests, he gave of his body as well, standing over the guests and personally tending to their needs. Very important, by the way. He didn't just pay for the meals that people were enjoying. He actually served the guests. Physically, he was standing over his guests. Let's continue. Even while recovering from his circumcision, and I should add, at the ripe old age of 99. Can we say ouch? Yeah? All right? He ran to prepare food for his guests. He himself. He didn't send someone else. He himself ran to greet his guests. Genesis 18:7. Furthermore, he gave of his soul, dedicating his life to explaining monotheism to the pagans around him. He gave of his money, he gave of his body, and he gave of his soul. He gave his spiritual influence as well. Let's continue. Page 78. Footnotes were in the hundreds. This is just page 78. So, when the general awakening to bestow kindness occurs, that's that initial feeling of chesed. You wake up in the morning and you're feeling generous. It is not yet apparent which type of kindness it will be and with which method it will be bestowed. It is just a general awakening. After this general awakening, a specific awakening follows in which the type and the method of kindness is decided. By the way, type means physical or spiritual, and method means money, body, soul. That's kind of the way he defined it on the previous page. Yet, even this awakening is relatively general and only later develops in a more specific way, in a way that is measured specifically according to the level of the recipient. This is what is termed a specific and measured revelation. This revelation, as it occurs in the supernal attributes, occurs in the sefirot of Malchut. For Malchut is a specific revelation that conforms to the level of the recipient. And here we have how he kind of connects those two ideas, at least initially. Toba, to answer, not fully, but to address a little bit of your question, he says, what is Malchut really doing? So Malchut, as we said, is the actualizer. It's getting things done, but in most cases, it's getting things done for the benefit of the impact it's going to make on someone else, on others. So we see how Malchut is less self-oriented and more other-oriented. Meaning it's like, even, I'm just going to go back to the example of the calendar, because it was like, it's so, again, Leah showed me, she's like 30 questions that it has. Like, okay, we need more information. Like, those questions are not to drive yourself crazy. and not to give yourself more work. It's to get an actual working calendar to benefit the students sitting in the class, to benefit the goal, to get it done for the other. So typically, not that everything we do, by the way, is for others. Sometimes we do things practically for ourselves. But I would say that anytime it's hitting this Malchut dynamic, which is about pragmatic, execution, it's almost like kind of birthing something. It's like birthing an idea from theory to practice, or a business, or a goal. It's moving it from inside almost to outside. And that process is always difficult, and it's harder the more practical it gets, the more difficult it gets, because you have to answer all the questions. You can't leave any stone unturned, and you have to actually get it done, and that's the hardest thing. But he's saying that that's a little bit other-oriented, because it's like outside-oriented, and that's how it kind of connects with this idea that Malchut is less about self and more about the other. It's like your name. Your name is less about you and more about others being able to call you by that handle. It's like if you were on a desert island, stranded, maybe not stranded, if you chose to vacation in solitude on an island, you wouldn't really need a name. You could just be I for yourself.
So Malchut people get less paid than the one who got the ID. Even though, people have the IDs, it's all
It's interesting.
marketing when
Very interesting.
then it might not go anywhere, but we're the one launching the project and
You're saying that not the Malchut people.
no.
Interesting.
Malchut
Is that
people
true?
get-
Or do the Malchut people get the glory? You think that the Malchut people don't get the glory? The executors don't get. Interesting.
I
Like
don't
Steve
understand.
Jobs, he didn't write this stuff. He just put the people in place
Mm.
to make, he had the vision, this is what I want.
That's what you're saying.
But other people have to develop it.
But he gets all the glory.
No one knows their name.
No.
That's what you're saying, Cedric, right?
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, that makes sense. Interesting. Oh, that actually makes perfect sense. That actually makes perfect sense with what Malchut is.
And as you said before, sometimes those people, don't know about Steve Jobs, but, if you leave it to them, it's not going to happen.
Right. They couldn't get it done.
They cannot get the project done.
But they can fire it up. They can get it going, they can get it started, they can share a vision. They can encourage you, they can be on you to get it done. Rah, rah, rah. Get on stage. One more thing. Ha. Little iPod or iPhone, whatever it was. iPod, I think.
So, Rabbi, I
Yeah.
don't understand why.
Yeah.
So Malchut is the actualization for others or for me?
Yeah. So it's really both. It's the bridge between me and outside me. Meaning it's what makes something get done, but when it gets done, it's moving typically from inside to outside. And so therefore, that's why it's at the end. It's still connected, but it's facing now the next thing. So if Malchut is so if we're talking about a project, then Malchut is what gets the project done and completed and then out there into the world. If Malchut is in teaching, it's what gets the idea into the mind and the heart of the student. It moves it outside. If it's chesed, it moves it from an idea, let's do something nice today, to practically serving food to someone at a shelter.
It's like we are the channel.
Yeah,
The things come through me and then I can.
correct. And Malchut is the last step in that, which makes it actually happen. So to your point, which initially I was like, is that true? And then I think it makes a lot of sense. And I want to now connect it mystically as well. Right? So the point that was made a few minutes ago is that Malchut doesn't necessarily, Malchut might just be the most important of all of these. In fact, within each of these individually, it's the most important thing. It's the most concrete version of that. The most concrete version of chesed is Malchut of chesed. Because otherwise it's theory of chesed. Malchut of chesed is, okay, what is this chesed? Let's define it. Let's quantify it. If it's not quantifiable, if it's not measurable, then what is it? Okay, great. This is perfect. Malchut is at the same time the most anonymous. Why do I say that? Kabbalah says, this is from maybe Eitz Chaim, maybe Zohar, like one of the OG Kabbalistic texts. It says, Malchut, I'm going to say the original Aramaic, les la mergame klum. Doesn't have any of its own. In fact, Malchut is likened to the moon as opposed to the sun. The moon doesn't have its own light. All it does is it reflects the light of the sun. But in darkness, the moon is the most important. Because without the moon, it would be completely dark. Why am I saying this? Just because it plays a critical role doesn't necessarily mean it's going to get the spotlight. Malchut might play the most critical role and yet be the most in the shadows. Because, well, what is it? It was just getting done what was, when someone is doing the chesed thing, what you see is the chesed, not the malchut of the chesed. Even though you really are seeing the malchut of the chesed, you don't notice the malchut, you notice the chesed. Does that make sense? When someone's doing something kind, what are you noticing? The doing or the kind? You're really noticing both, but primarily you're noticing the kindness that's happening. In order for it to get done, you know what had to happen, you'd have Malchut involved. Yeah, but Malchut is like, Malchut is like I don't even have a good analogy for it. Malchut is like the mechanism to deliver the chesed, but what's being delivered is the chesed, and that's what you notice, primarily. But without the delivery mechanism, you wouldn't have anything. So yeah, in a structure like, maybe you're thinking about a school or whatever it is, in any situation, so there's the person that has the idea and might get all the glory for having the idea. And that's their project. Or corporate, right, corporate. They had the idea, so it's their idea, it's their baby. Meanwhile, who's the one that actually got it done? Right? And without the one getting it done, in the trenches, answering all of those questions, the annoying questions, crossing all the T's and dotting all the I's and writing all the code, getting it actually done. Without getting it done, it's not done. All it is an idea. And the truth is, it's not a contest of which is more important. But what it is, although it could be, no, I'm kidding. But what it is really is understanding the value of Malchut. It's the most underappreciated of the sefirot. It's the last, it's the lowest, it's the end. It seems like a bit of like an appendage, afterthought. It's like, oh, wow, that looks, oh, what's that doing over there? Yeah, right. Malchut is also Keter. It's the king.
That's right, it comes from Malchut, from king. Right?
King.
Their kingdom.
Look, without Malchut, yeah, Malchut literally means king. Without Malchut, Melech, without Malchut, nothing happens. But with Malchut, what happens? Everything, like what? Kind things. Oh, so kind things. You don't hear Malchut, you hear kind things. Teaching happens. Educational ideas. Whatever it is. Whatever is happening, what you see is the energy. What's the invisible facilitator is the Malchut, which you don't always see. But without Malchut, things don't happen. Yeah.
So Malchut could be the executioner of everything?
Yes. Yes. Malchut is literally the execution of everything happening. That's why it says that in the process of creation actually happens from Malchut. Malchut is what creates. Of course, God creates, obviously. That goes without saying. This is all part of the mechanism that God utilizes. You might ask a more fundamental question, why did God use this mechanism? To that I answer, I have no idea. Why? I gotta go question God. Or you might even ask a more fundamental question, which is, why does God need a mechanism? Why can't he just go poof and create? That I already have an answer for. Because he created us in a structured fashion. He wanted that the process of creating structure should also be structured. Not that it should be like unstructured to structured. There should be a structure as part of the whole process. So this is literally the architecture of creation. Malchut is the energy from which everything is created. Malchutcha, Malchut kol olamim. We say in the Ashrei. Your Malchut, Psalm 145. Your Malchut is the Malchut of all the worlds. What does that mean? Malchut is the source of all of creation. I know God is, sure, but it's the Malchut. Yeah, do the other energies contribute? Of course. And when you see it show up, you'll say, well, that was God's kindness. Okay? But what you didn't see is that was God's kindness as carried by Malchut to you. Facilitated, right? Designed in Cupertino, whatever it is. Designed in Chesed and executed in Malchut. That's how this works. Okay, so today we took a deep dive to summarize and close out. Today we took it. Closing out is good. To Malchut this class. So the main topic of today's session was Malchut. And to get a better understanding of what Malchut is and what it does. And Malchut at its core is about execution and facilitation, to move something from theory to practice, to make it real, to make it tangible, to make it practical, to make it actionable. So again, you have a desire for this, you want that, and you're inspired for the other, you have ideas and feelings, and all that is important. And without those, Malchut would have nothing to facilitate. Can you imagine if you didn't have a spirit of generosity, if you didn't wake up this morning and want to do something to make the world better, then what would your Malchut do? Just watch the World Cup? Just turn on the TV? That's too easy. I got to do something good today. So you need the chesed. You need the love. You need the kindness. So let's not minimize that piece of it. You need that. But if you just had that, then you might wake up in the morning, feel generous, and think about what am I going to do today? And think about all the ideas, and then feel good that you felt good, and that you thought about it, and then go to sleep, thinking, I had a great day. I thought about so many nice things. Malchut says, it's good to think, it's good to feel, but let's make it happen. Let's make it practical. Let's execute on it. Let's answer all the tough questions, because it's not easy to make something manifest in the world. Let's ask the tough questions, answer the tough questions, and get it across the finish line. That is what Malchut is. We all have that power of kind of execution, executive ability to get things done, like a king or a queen, to make it happen. And so may we have a week of action of making it happen. And I would say to connect it with the main, the featured day of the week, of this week, which is Tisha B'Av. I don't know if you would call it a featured day. It makes it sound like a happy day. The saddest day on the Jewish calendar, the day that is the anniversary of both temples' destructions. It's Thursday, Wednesday night, Thursday. It's a fast day, 24-hour fast, starting Wednesday night into Thursday night. And we mourn the temple, and I think as we mourn the temple, we think about, well, why was it destroyed? And we know the answer, the Talmud says, because people weren't acting nice to each other. Sinat chinam. There was too much fighting amongst people. It wasn't about angering God as much as it was about angering the other guy. The Talmud tells a story about a guy who invites the guy to a party, and the other guy shows up, and he kicks out the other guy, and the guy says, don't kick me out. It's going to be so embarrassing. Let me stay. I'll pay for my meal. No, you have to leave. I'll pay for half the whole party. No, I'll pay for the whole party. Just don't kick me out. No. Because of that, he was so upset, and that led to the temple's destruction in a very complicated way. And so we know this. And so every year this time we think about, how can we be nicer to each other? How can we treat each other more kindly? Because if we do that, maybe we get redemption. Like if the cause of exile is friction, well, if we heal that, Maybe we bring salvation and redemption to the world. And then we say, okay, let's do that. And then we go to sleep. Malchut. What are we going to do this week? That's my charge for this week. What are we going to do this week? Understanding the role and the importance of Malchut. Thinking about the energy of Tisha B'Av. So what are we going to do this week to actually bring people together? Or maybe there's a relationship that we need to smooth over and fix. Maybe there's someone that we need to pick up the phone and call. Maybe there's some sort of peace that we can try to foster and create. But not just thinking about it, getting it done. Malchut. May we have a week of peace, a week of love, and may we merit the final redemption, and then we won't have to fast on Thursday. But it's not just about not fasting, but it's about a better world for all. Let us say, Amen. What were we saying?
What's going on here?
Here, we're doing a film screening called Holy Smokes. It is a new documentary. It's not even out. I hope to get the film before. I will. It's called Holy Smokes. It's about archaeologists who dug under, near the temple, the area of the temple in Jerusalem, and discovered the ancient incense that they burned in the temple, and the fight that they had in kind of revealing this information, and the question about its authenticity. And I don't know much more. I know that it's about this. I know who the documentarian is. His name is Rabbi Yoel Gold. He's phenomenal. You've probably seen his films before. He's done documentaries. He's a rabbi. He's legit. He's amazing. He's a great storyteller. We screened a film of his about the menorah in the Vatican. Remember that? That's him. So he's great. I think because of the success of that one, he's like, let me do more type films. So this is going to be not about the menorah in the Vatican. This is going to be about the incense, the temple incense, 2,000 years old. They found, I think, from what I pieced together from the trailer, they found maybe some sort of jug or jar. And then inside of it was a powder. And they tested, I don't know. We're going to see it together. Yes, that's the whole point.
Oh my God.
That's amazing. So we're going to find out.
Wednesday night?
No, Thursday. It says 6:45 on the calendar. We need to amend it because I want to give time for discussion afterwards. 6:30 p.m. We'll do it over there. 6:30 p.m. Maybe we'll do it here, actually. Maybe we'll do it here, actually.
Where, here?
Maybe. I'm not sure yet. All right. Well, either here or there. I'll be here to direct traffic and to screen the film. 6:30, Thursday, Holy Smokes. First of all, that's an incredible name.
Yeah.
Holy Smokes. Come on, you got to be kidding me. It's the perfect amount of pun that speaks to me. You know me by now, right? Anything that's called Holy Smokes about the ancient temple incense is you had me at Holy Smokes. So that's it. All right, so join us again, brand new, for exclusive film launch happening here. All right, good. What else? Tomorrow, Taste and Torah Club, 11:30. Otherwise, Tuesday night Torah, yes. All right.
Here or there?
There. Sandrine, you're going to love what we're doing. Can you imagine a big, bright space?
Well to go up.
What is it?
You need a rail to go up.
To hold on to. Okay. By the way, to hold on. Excellent. Give me more, by the way, what I need to know is give me more ideas,
Yeah.
and I'm going to write everything down.
It'd be good for this.
No, for sure, 100%.
That no one falls.
No. I want more ideas. So think of,
Generation is grand for that.
yes. So that one I'm going to write down. Think of more. Don't stop thinking. Think of more ideas about how to make the space nice. We're using the design. Have you been to Lipsker?
Where?
Rabbi Lipsker? You don't know. I think we can keep it. Yeah. Have you been to Emory?
No. It's a new
Okay.
place.
I think it might be the same people that did upstairs at InTown.
Oh,
The designer. Yeah. I think it might be the same. I'm not sure. But they're very good. I haven't met with them yet, but I have a... Yes, correct.
It's like so.
It's very dark, dark and gloomy. Yeah, the goal is to make it beautiful.
Good.
I really like that because the hardest thing for me is to finish.
Me, yeah, I think for me too. Like I'm all, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like practical.
When I'm on my iPhone, sometimes I'm looking up words, Hebrew words.
Yeah.
I'm not just.
Oh no! I didn't. No worries. You're good.
Yeah, I just want to show you briefly.
Yeah.
This is the,
Oh, beautiful.
I remember, was it?
Let's see it.
was my niece.
Wow,
Remember when,
that's great.
yeah, so you pick the rabbi that you want to hear and the
first person we all
things,
came and
It's
the
beautiful.
music or this one. Yeah,
That's beautiful. Nice.
because I like to hear English and Spanish to understand.
Yeah. Very cool.
Okay, thank you, Rabbi.
Pleasure. Great to see you. And Rivka, thank you very much. I saw today about you set up something for like a monthly, for like a day.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Mariana, good to see you.
The same. Thank you very much. Beautiful class. Amazing.
Thank you. How's everything?
Very nice. Now we are in winter time, a lot of raining,
Aye.
and we are but we are great. Thank you very much.
Good. Well, I hope it's not too cold. Hope everything's is okay.
Yeah. The family, how is the family?
Thank God everyone's good. All the kids went away for camp this year. Riva, even the baby went away. Oh, good to see you. Oh. Good to see you. I think I'm standing on your foot.
You're good.
Good to see you. All right. Yeah, she's coming back today from a month away in Toronto. So, oh wow, wow.
It's Alex.
Hello.
Very big.
Oh my gosh, how old?
Hello.
How old is he?
He will be 2 in August.
want to say hi to
I
Mariana.
remember, from long time ago, right? Yes, with Chabad.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice to see you.
Nice
Hi,
to
Matt.
see you.
Good to see you.
Hi.
Hi.
Oh my gosh, he's so big.
Yeah.
He's so cute. Oh wow.
Yes.
Yeah, the little house.
Kabbalah class on Sunday.
Yes, yeah. Oh my gosh. This is like elevating my day.
Thank you very much.
Pleasure. Give my best to Alex, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you.
All right.
The same to Leah
Yes,
and the kids.
we'll do. Shavua Tov. Matt, how's it going? Shavua Tov.
It is going well. I did a speed dating thing with medical